Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to make a Montessori bed for a little girl. It's going to be her 4th birthday, and so we're going to make her a nice little birthday present. I modeled everything up in CAD.
This bed was designed to be easily broken down, fairly flat, and transported if needed. In the end, there are 5 sub-assemblies that are solid but can be screwed together without much trouble. You can see them here in different colors. 2 A-frames which are mirrored from each other, the bed base, the top runner, and the side runner.
I have all the drawings made. I've got them printed out. I have the wood here, so now we just need to start getting cutting. So let's get to that.
The first parts I'm going to make are the outside pieces of the A-frame, which are made out of 8-foot long 2x4s. The first thing I wanted to do was find the straightest boards. That one had some wobble, so it's out. After getting the 4 best boards, I cleaned up the ends to have a nice straight starting point. Each corner is made out of 1 board cut in a way to have a waterfall effect. This is when the wood grains line up as much as possible at a joint. It is just a nice extra detail to put into the design. I labeled each board A through D on both sides of the cut so that they don't get mixed up later. Don't forget to account for the curve of the blade when marking. I modified my original design to be 5 inches taller than what I originally started out with. This will give her some more growing space and look better in the room. The angle going up is 45 degrees split in the middle. 2 22.5 degree cuts in opposite directions will form the 45. I then transferred the line, but to be extra safe, I rigged up a way of copying the cut on a different board so that they are the same length. This is important so that each corner is the same height. Then I flipped cutoffs and made the alternate angle for the top part of the A-frame. And after getting all 4, you can see how the grains continue from one side of the board to the next side of the board at the joint. Next is the top parts of the A-frame. These get a little more complicated but can easily be managed. Left and right side are different from each other and joined using a mitered half-flap joint. The main difference was to provide a slot for the top cross member to mount. That is the small square cut out in the green part here. The external seam is vertical at the joint, which is mainly just a stylistic choice. Now time to mark the boards. I first got the length of 1, then transferred the line to the next piece. And I also labeled them 1 and 2 for my drawings before, so I don't mix them up. I also marked which side of the board was inside, so I don't get confused while making all the markings. Here I am marking part 1. Which is the blue part. Where I marked X as a complete cutoff, and half means just to go down halfway to create the half-lap joint. I then transferred the marks to the side to help guide me. Now for part 2, which was the green one in the animation. Its final length is cut at a 90-degree angle instead of a 45-degree angle like the previous one. On one side it has a 2x2 guide for the top cross member to fit into, which we will get to later. The other side has a 45-degree half-lap cut into it. Now it's just time to cut. I matched both lengths before cutting part 1's 45-degree angle off. This will help make sure they're the same length. I slowly inched up on the final length. Then I got my router set up and started to route out the half-lap joint. I used my square and some offcuts to try and create some sort of a guide for me to guide the router with. This one was okay. I'm working on the blue one right now, by the way. On the next part, to give a clean edge to the miter lap joint, I got my miter saw and set the depth stop to halfway. That gave a much cleaner edge to the joints. On the next set, I really try to improve my jig and use a lot more parts and clamps to hold it more solid. It was definitely an improvement, but finding a better way would probably be a good thing. I then flipped over the board to get the square ready to be routed out. A quick test fit and looks pretty good. Now just to quickly mock everything up to see how it looks. And then time to make some marks to drill out some dowels. I got out my 3D printed 3/4 inch depth dowel jig, lined it up, and drilled away. After drilling all the dowel holes, it is time to glue everything up. I use my 3D printed 135-degree angle jigs that I designed to help align everything while the glue dries. Then I clamped everything down and let it sit overnight. The next day I came back to it and took off the clamps to inspect the joint. And it did not look very good. I was not happy with what I saw. The boards did not get enough clamping force to keep them together during glue up and resulted in a bad joint. So after much deliberation, I decided to break apart the joint, clean it up as best as I could, and get out the Craig pocket hole jig to start using some pocket hole screws at this joint. Because the ends of these parts were cut at an angle, I had to be careful about where I lined up the pocket holes so that they don't cut through the sides of the boards. So after considerable consideration, I made marks for lining up the boards with A and B positions of the jig. However, I only drilled into the B hole of the jig. Then I glued the parts together with a couple of dowels, clamped it all together, and drove in the screws. Stylistically, I wanted the pocket holes to all be on the outside of the bed so that they wouldn't be seen while inside. I started with only one of the frame corners to make sure that it would be okay. After letting the glue dry, I checked it and thought it looked pretty good, so I moved on to the next three. I started copying the positions of the pocket hole marks, jig position B at 3/4 inch away from the edge and A at 1.5 inch away from the edge. I lined them up in the jig and drilled down. Again, I'm only using hole B in the jig, even though I lined them up at different positions. As each A-frame of the bed has one side angling left and the other angling right, I realized the B and A jig positions wouldn't work as the angles go in the opposite directions for the other side. Again, while only drilling in hole B, I found lining up jig position C for the 1/2 inch mark and B again for the 3/4 inch mark worked well. Hopefully that wasn't too confusing. After that, it was time to glue everything up, clamp it together, and screw in the holes to hold it tight. At this point, I did all three remaining corners of the A-frames. The next day I checked the joint. Ignoring the slight misalignment, the joints are looking much better and stronger. Next, time to move on to the next part, and I completely overexposed this shot of cutting both the ends and sideboards out of 1x6s. The end boards were cut to 35 inches in length, and the sideboards were cut to 76 inches length. And that's about what the end boards will look like in the A-frame, completing the A-shape. All the side and end boards will sit about 3/4 inches away from the edges of the 2x4s of the A-frame. This will give a nice bit of style to the frame. The end boards will be using pocket hole and glue joinery to make permanent members of the A-frame. So I drilled those out and quickly sanded them to 120 grit to save time later. Final sanding will be done at the end. As this is a child's bed, I really didn't want to have any sharp corners on any of the boards where she might touch. So I got out my 1/4 inch roundover bit and rounded over all the edges. I then got some 220 grit sandpaper and just smoothed them over by hand. Next up was to join the A-frame together. I used a cut-off piece of 1x6 as a spacer to bring the end board up to the inside of the A-frame. I'm mounting this so that the inside of the A-frame is sticking up. The next step is important for setting the height of the mattress. As you'll see later, The slats sit 3.5 inches above the bottom of the end boards. So, taking into consideration the thickness of the mattress, I cut spacer 6.5 inches long to line up the end boards. This translates to a 6-inch thick mattress sitting 16 inches above the ground, which will be a good height while she grows, while also giving room for 6-inch tall storage bins to slide underneath the bed. After checking to see how everything looked clamped up in a dry run, it was time to glue and screw it all together. I'm only using glue on the top connection of the A-frame, but I'm also using pocket screws for the end boards. These cut-off 2x4s help clamp the end boards down so that they have a nice flush surface on the inside of the A-frame. After locking everything into position, it was time to drive in the screws. After checking square off camera, I wiped away any excess squeeze out of the glue. While doing this, I noticed some gaps at some of the joints, so I filled them in with glue and sawdust to act as a bit of a wood filler to help hide these gaps. Using sawdust is a good way to make sure it'll match and be stainable later on. Here I had some blowout on the corner when I was riding out the lap joint, so this took a couple of times to build up and a lot of glue and sawdust, but eventually got there. Then it was time to fill in all the pocket holes with the pocket hole plugs so that they're less visible. One point of advice is to try and find some plugs that will actually match the color of the wood in the surrounding area. It's not always possible, but there's generally a good mix of colors and shades of wood that come in the box, so pick and choose and get the best one. Now that the A-frames are complete, time to move on to the mattress frame. This is largely made out of 2x2s with half lap joints, so I cut them to length. 39 inches for the end pieces and 76 inches for the side pieces. I noticed that the dimensions of 2x2s were far from consistent, especially compared to standard lumber like 2x4s. So when marking and labeling, make sure to actually use the wood that you use to create the marks instead of relying on a standard measurement. Then I got out the table saw, made sure the blade is set at 90 degrees, set the height, and then started to cut the first lap joint. I unfortunately don't have a flat curved table saw blade, so this joint will have to be cleaned up. After verifying that the lap joint width was okay with its mating piece, I used it to create the marks for cuts for the next one. One mark for depth of the cut, then I measured it to later on set the table saw height. Then I transferred the line further down the part, marked off the part to cut off, then marked the width of the half lap joint. Then after all that, it was back to the table saw to create the rest of the half lap joints for the remaining 4 corners. Once all the joints were cut, I did a dry fit with all the slats to make sure that everything was fitting just right. Everything looked good, so I moved on to sanding. These 2x2s came especially rough, so I wanted to make sure I got everything smooth before glue up, as it would be a lot easier to do it now than later on. Once they were smooth, I got them back into the Surefoot clamps from Rockler, which were really just a way to raise them off the ground. I checked them for square to get the boards in position, and carefully removed the end boards to start gluing them up. After removing a little bit of excess squeeze out, I lightly clamped them into position and repeated the process for the other end, lightly clamping those down and then checking for square. Once everything was good, I put down some more clamps and really tightened it down for the night. Next was to make these 4 little pieces that will actually play double duty. One is to help line up the A-frames when assembling, and the other is to have a place for threaded inserts to go into the A-frame to screw into during assembly. To give the threaded inserts as much strength as possible, I cut these parts in such a way so that the inserts will go into side grain as opposed to end grain. So I use a 2x2 as a spacer and set a stop block on the miter saw, then quickly cut all 4 pieces out. Then I glued them onto the bottom of the mattress frame, which is currently upside down. In the end, it essentially formed a mortise and tenon joint. I then continued on to the other 3 corners, getting those glued and clamped up. The next day, after it was dry, I took the clamps off and cleaned off any excessive squeeze out. Then I started to mount up the sideboards just to kind of see how those were fitting. I saw this one was a little bit long, so a quick trim took care of that. Now it is time to make the cross members for the mattress frame, seen in blue, as well as the green alignment boards for the A-frame. I took some final measurements for these boards off of the actual mattress frame and cut the 2x2s to length. The cross members were cut to exact width of the mattress frame, while the alignment pieces were cut to be a little bit narrower to make assembly a little bit easier. For the spacing of the cross members, I essentially put them a quarter of the length in from the sides. This would be helpful to have the benefit of having one storage bin on the sides and two in the middle. Strange idea, but adds some more function to the bed. After marking the positions of the cross members, I got everything mocked up into position to start gluing and screwing the cross members. I pre-drilled all the holes as they are close to the end of the boards and can easily split if they're not pre-drilled. Note, I did not glue the A-frame alignment boards as those actually get mounted later on to the A-frame and not to the mattress frame. My process here was to get one side pretty close to square and glued and clamped down, then screw down the other side once that was square, and then return back to the original side. After that was done, I flipped the frame over to begin mounting the sideboards. I clamped a 4-foot long straight edge on one side to give a flat end to line everything up. After getting everything into position, I then proceeded to mark where I wanted to drill the screws in from the inside of the frame to mount the sideboard. I did 9 per side and pre-drilled the holes. Once I pre-drilled all the holes, I took the sideboards off and started to glue. I glued on the outside of the mattress frame, as that would be exactly where the glue would end up being. Then I got the sideboards mounted back into position and drilled in all 18 screws. Now that the sideboards are mounted on the mattress frame, I think that is where I'm going to end this video as it's getting pretty long. I will finish this build in part 2, so make sure to subscribe to know when that comes out. I'm considering making plans for this build, so if you're interested, let me know in the comments below. Until then, thanks for watching.